It's been over a month and a half since I unboxed the OnePlus 6T. No, since I reboxed the OnePlus 6T. I wasn't happy with the 3K price hike, especially because the OnePlus 6 was available for a mere 30,000 rupees just a week before that. Well, I still wanted to give it a shot. I went ahead, used the phone for 45 days, and here we are. This is the full detailed review of the OnePlus 6T. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Sundar, this is Technology Jock. Subscribe to the channel if you find this video helpful, and more importantly, hit the bell icon. And a huge shout out to Capes India for sponsoring this video. More about them in a few minutes. The display has gone through the most number of changes from the OnePlus 6, so let's first talk about that. The display is slightly larger at 6.41 inches, larger as in it's taller. The aspect ratio has gone up from 19:9 to 19.5:9, so the resolution has also changed. It's 1080 pixels by 2340 pixels. And most importantly, the size of the notch has been reduced to almost nil. It's a water drop notch. Like the name suggests, it's the size of a big water drop. And as I used it for a few weeks, I slowly started realizing this reduction in the notch size was much more convenient and functional than I initially thought. I have used phones with bigger notches, and most of the time it wouldn't really bother me, but when I start gaming or watching a video, I really get vexed and annoyed. So I'll gladly disable the notch if the software has the option, but on the 6T, I never found myself wanting to disable the notch. It's almost non-existent to my eye while watching games or videos. Now, speaking of changes, the display protection has seen an upgrade as well, from Gorilla Glass 5 to Gorilla Glass 6, which means the phone is now less prone to cracks and scratches. What hasn't changed is the pixel density. Because it's still a full HD plus display, only the height of the display has changed, so that small top part of the display accommodates a few more pixels now. That's it. And the color calibration too seems to be similar. The software still offers a variety of calibration modes. Default is quite vibrant, sRGB and DCI-P3 are more natural. I personally like the adaptive mode, which changes the calibration depending on the ambient lighting. Overall, it's a great display for all types of content, be it movies, games, or even just regular browsing. Even under direct sunlight, the legibility is quite good. I don't remember struggling to see what was on the display, even under bright sunlight. You might rarely face an issue related to the notch, depending on the app you use. Like on Instagram, if you pinch to zoom, a bit of glitch crops up at the bottom. The navigation buttons get hidden, and at the top the notched area gets filled with a black bar. I mean, overall it kinda seems not okay. But then when you go to settings, display, app display in full screen, and set full screen mode, everything becomes fine. It looks a lot better now. We've got a night mode that essentially filters the blue light. We've got a reading mode that changes the temperature of the display. That's more comfortable for reading. And then we've got ambient display. You can choose what to be shown on the lock screen. Also, a small tip, this option, tap the screen to show, works much better than the other option. With the other option on, occasionally the display would turn on by itself and crazy things happen. So yeah. Now, unlike the front, the back of the phone hasn't gone through many changes. Sure, the new Thunder Purple OnePlus 6T looks stunning, and the new McLaren edition OnePlus 6T is awesome too, although quite expensive. But for the base 6GB RAM variant, the 38,000 rupee model, we still have the same two colors, midnight black and mirror black. And there's nothing much to complain about it. The back looks good. If you don't like it though, Capes India will come to the rescue. They have some wonderful skins for the 6T. They don't just look great, they also protect the back from scratches without adding a lot of bulk to the phone. They have skins for a lot of other devices as well. You can use coupon code TJOCK to get 10% off. so check out their skins, link is in the description. Back to the video. One obvious change is the lack of a rear fingerprint scanner because it's been embedded in the display now. It was reasonably fast when I unboxed the phone last month, but right now after extensive usage, it has become better and faster. Yes, in-display fingerprint scanners get better as you use it. I didn't really believe it completely, but now I can notice the difference. Still, it's not as easy and convenient as face unlock, but of course face unlock is not as secure as a fingerprint scanner because there is no dedicated hardware for face unlock on this phone. Like on the iPhone XS or Mate 20 Pro, they've got some dedicated hardware for face unlock. Overall, the 6T is a great phone when it comes to the design and build. It is actually a bit taller, thicker and heavier than the OnePlus 6, but I've been using it for a month and a half and those things didn't really bother me. Same with the earpiece too, as in normally we would cover our entire ear with the phone like this. That's generally how we hold, but since the earpiece is moved all the way to the very top, using it like this doesn't really work well. You gotta lower it by a bit like this. This is again something I got used to in a matter of 2 weeks. The only thing I hate about OnePlus's choices here is, yeah, you guessed it right, the removal of the 3.5mm headphone jack. I don't want to crib about it. I've accepted the fact that every brand is gonna remove it eventually, but what I'm trying hard to understand here is why remove the headphone jack despite the phone being slightly thicker and heavier? No idea. Now, I was actually one of the customers who pre-booked the phone, so I got a pair of OnePlus Bullets Type-C earphones for free. But to be frank, they don't sound great. I still prefer using my old Skullcandy earphones with a Type-C adapter, which by the way is included in the box, unlike the iPhone XS box. I have also been using my Bluetooth earphones with this phone and Bluetooth streaming is flawless. The 6T has support for Qualcomm's aptX HD, and in a recent update OnePlus added an audio tuner feature for Bluetooth earphones where you can adjust the lows and highs to match your taste. It's a small addition, but it's something that actually helps you make a difference in the audio quality. Speaking of audio, the loudspeaker is situated at the bottom. The quality is reasonably good and it gets quite loud. In a public place like a cafe or something, despite the surrounding noise, even at 80%, even at 80 or 90% volume, it was audible. Anyway, the 3.5mm headphone jack is gone now, but I really hope they don't remove the alert slider, like ever. It's one of my all-time favorite features. Just being able to change the audio profile without having to unlock the phone, clicking the volume button and etc, it's just very convenient, especially for someone like me who keeps changing it 2 to 3 times a day. The signal reception is also quite good. I've been using 2 SIMs and there was no abnormal signal loss. Inside the phone we have the same Snapdragon 845 chip found inside the OnePlus 6 as well. 4 of its cores run at 2.8 GHz each and the remaining 4 run at 1.7 GHz each. These low powered cores are used most of the time, like while using WhatsApp or checking email. Those high powered cores kick in when you start doing something that really demands a lot of power, like gaming or shooting photos and videos. For gaming, we have the Adreno 630 GPU. Forget the specs, the optimization here is top notch. It's probably the fastest Android phone available in the market. I mean, fastest phone available in the market, probably. Apps open up quick, the animations are super fast. I mean, on how many phones can you do this? OnePlus phones have traditionally been among the fastest phones, but you know what? They keep adding more and more features to Oxygen OS, yet it doesn't slow down one bit. And that's what is mind-boggling. Anyway, one major change in the internals is the base variant now comes with 128GB internal storage instead of 64, which really helps because the 6T doesn't have a micro SD card slot, just like the previous OnePlus phones. The amount of RAM for this variant is 6GB and the higher end variant has 8GB RAM. The new McLaren Edition 6T has 10GB RAM. That's more RAM than what is on my dad's 80,000 rupees laptop. Anyway, the 6T's battery life is just amazing. It has a bigger battery unit, 3700 mAh compared to 3300 on the OnePlus 6. I easily get 5 to 7 hours of screen on time. You may say it depends on the kind of usage, so let me share my usage with you. I'm on phone calls for about an hour every day. I spend at least 3 hours on Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook combined. I play PUBG or real cricket for 45 to 60 minutes. I use 2 SIMs. I'm on Wi-Fi almost all day, like at least 16 hours a day. And I have mobile data switched on for maybe a couple of hours every day when I'm not home, basically. Apart from that, I've been using the cameras a lot and also an hour of audio streaming via Bluetooth and around 30 minutes of video streaming on YouTube. I guess it adds up to around 6 or 7 hours. With this kind of usage, I've never run out of battery before the end of the day, not even once. Let's now quickly have a look at the cameras. Yes, quickly, because there's nothing new here. It has the exact same primary camera as the OnePlus 6, it has the exact same secondary camera as the OnePlus 6, and it has the exact same front-facing camera as the OnePlus 6. Not really surprised, it's a T-series phone after all, it doesn't come with major upgrades. So anyway, these are the images shot with the 16 megapixel f1.7 primary camera. Good colors, great dynamic range. If you don't know what those terms mean, here's a card. Watch this video to learn all the basic camera terms. I've explained everything very simply. I can guarantee you will understand everything thoroughly. Back to the photos, they are quite sharp as well, but it's partly because they are over sharpened. Like artificial sharpening, it's not native. That's how the software processes the images. But apart from that, in good lighting conditions, there's nothing much to complain about. The camera is capable of getting some excellent photos. The low light performance is also quite good. If it's darker than a certain point, then the phone switches to the 20 megapixel f1.7 secondary camera for better results. If you're still not satisfied, you could use the new Nightscape mode. It takes about 2 seconds to click a picture though. There is no day and night difference between normal and Nightscape pictures. Just that there is a lot less noise, but in terms of brightness, it's pretty much the same. And the end result might turn out blurry, just occasionally though, not a deal breaker. However, if you're still not satisfied with the results, you could install the Google Camera app and use the Nightside mode, which is noticeably better. Look at this comparison. Nightside picture is brighter with better color reproduction. Actually, here's a card to a full comparison video between Nightscape and Nightside. Watch it if you're interested to know more. Now moving on to selfies, this is one place where I really don't get something. Have a look at these selfies. Tell me your frank opinion. Do you think I used beauty mode here? Looks like I did, right? But I didn't. I swear. Here's the exact same selfie shot using the Google Camera app. It's a lot sharper. There is a lot more detail on my face. There's a huge difference. The stock camera image looks like it was shot with the front camera smudged up and with beauty mode on. I can't blame the camera here because the camera hardware is actually very capable. It's the software processing that kind of messes up. And this is something I noticed on the Mate 20 Pro as well. Poor processing of selfies. So yeah, apart from the details and sharpness, everything else is quite okay. The color reproduction is good, the dynamic range too speaks for itself. We also have portrait mode for both front and rear cameras, and it works fairly well. Although once again, I prefer Google Camera's portrait mode. I'll leave a link to the Google Camera app in the description, check it out if you're interested. Last but not least, let's talk about software. The operating system and the user interface. The 6T runs on Oxygen OS 9 based on Android 9 Pie. The thing with Oxygen OS is, I actually mentioned it earlier, right? But I'll say it again. It is being stuffed with more and more features lately, and yet it feels so light. Light as in the OS feels very light. The navigation, the animations, the response times, they're all super fast. And on top of all that, the user interface also looks really good. I have dark mode enabled, so the background is all black on most of the system apps like settings, dialer and messages. Some really useful utilities like parallel apps, app locker and gaming mode are all available out of the box. The gaming mode is customizable to a great extent. The navigation gestures and the signature OnePlus quick gestures like draw O for camera, etc. are also retained by the OnePlus 6T. Those are all completely customizable. Even the accent color is customizable. So that's what Oxygen OS 9 is. A fast, snappy, streamlined interface with a bunch of useful features and cool customizations. This kind of effort from OnePlus is really laudable since it hasn't even been 4 years since Oxygen OS was introduced first. So yeah, I was kind of pissed about the price hike during the launch, That too a whopping 3000 rupees. That's the maximum hike for a T-series phone from OnePlus. I expressed my disappointment in the reboxing video, and a lot of people were like, dude, no, you have a new fingerprint scanner, a bigger battery, 128GB storage, and a smaller notch. What more do you need? It's a decent upgrade for 3000 rupees extra. I mean, what if they gave a 64GB variant at 35 or 36K? I bet most of us would buy that instead, right? So that's not exactly how an upgrade works. Let's take Apple, the iPhone 4, 4S, 5, 5S, 6, 6S, 7. They were all launched at the same price, $650 in the US. Forget the Indian prices, because for India, we need to consider things like taxes and currency exchange rates. For 7 years, a brand launched flagships at the same price. So clearly increasing the price every time isn't how upgrades work. Take OnePlus. OnePlus 5 and 5T were launched at the same price, 33,000 rupees. So unless there's a very significant jump in features, a huge price hike isn't very pleasant. And here for a T-series phone, it's definitely kinda high. Especially with phones like the LG G7 ThinQ, with extremely good specs and features are available at 33K, and Poco F1 at just 20K. I know Poco isn't a direct competitor, but we all know it offers more value for money. And value for money is what OnePlus is known for, right? So personally, I feel OnePlus needs to kind of curb their urge to hike prices. But that said, if I have 38,000 rupees to spend on a phone for my personal use, I would definitely pick up the OnePlus 6T. Because one, it has an amazing software, it's super fast and fluid, the user interface is just lovely to even look at. Number two, OnePlus has been excellent with regards to software updates. The OnePlus 3 launched with Marshmallow, and OnePlus has promised Android Pie for the device. Awesome, right? Number 3. It has great developer support. My very old OnePlus 1 is running on Android 9 Pie. Watch this video for more info on that. Number 4. That tiny notch, it's probably the best display implementation for a mainstream smartphone. Other implementations that are better than this, better is subjective here since not everybody trusts the sliding mechanism, not everybody finds it efficient. Anyway, those kind of implementations are way more expensive. So yeah, those are some really important things that make me wanna buy the 6T. What do you guys think? Should OnePlus have introduced another variant with 64GB storage for like 35 or 36K? Or the current pricing is totally fine? And what about the OnePlus 7? What price would you be okay with? What if it's more than 40K? Post all your thoughts in the comment section, thoughts about the phone. If I missed out on something, feel free to ask me about it in the comment section. I'll get back to you as early as possible. Give a like if you found this video useful, subscribe to Technology Jock for more detailed reviews and other useful content, and hit the bell icon as well. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.